Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the previous speakers already. And Hanneke is especially appreciated the overview you gave already about the state of play, the challenges that we face in the food system and the urgency for action, but then also the prospects, because there's a lot of really exciting things going on at the moment. Maybe just to say that having followed developments around the food system now already for a while, I can't recall a moment in time where the urgency and the need to transform our system would have been the level what it is today. We see Russia weaponizing food, and obviously the disruptions in the supply chains that we are seeing come on top of the already existing challenges in our food systems. We are seeing how climate change and degradation of biodiversity are already challenging the food system of today. And all of these demands require our attention, and they require measures. So that is the basis, the context in which we operate. Now, recognizing that our current food production and consumption are contributing to climate change and destroying the ecosystems on which they depend on, we have no time to waste. We should be using the looming food crisis to accelerate the transition to a system which will be resilient, which will be sustainable, which will be providing healthy food for people to eat, and ultimately, which is good for people and the planet. Now, Hanneke already talked about the science, and we know, if we follow the science, we know what are the measures that should be taken today to make our food systems more resilient and sustainable, and what kind of diets can support this transition, support food security, and are aligned with our health, environmental, and climate considerations. And we know that what we should be seeing is a shift to more plant-based foods, substantially limiting foods from animal sources, reducing overconsumption, and reducing food waste. We've heard these being mentioned already a number of times in the presentations also before. So the evidence base is clear. We know the direction of travel. We know what we should be doing. And talking about the power of people to bring about change in the world around us, actually, when we look at what needs to be done, we're ultimately talking a lot about habits. Habits that people can change if they want. And actually, many of these habits are habits that can be changed with a snap of fingers overnight, if we so wish. I know this is difficult, and this can be a very difficult discussion to be had, but changing one's food consumption is already an available option for many and comes down to a personal choice. Am I willing to consume less animal products? Do I want to eat healthier food? Am I willing to reduce food waste? Now, obviously, enabling environments, which includes political and financial incentives, are important drivers if we want the society as a whole to change. However, for interested individuals, many already have this option, even if the overall food environment lags behind. And so, for anyone interested in reducing one's climate and environmental footprint, looking into improving one's own health, one of the fastest and most effective ways to do this is to look into what you eat, what we eat, and to reconsider what we eat. Now, should we wish to support people in adopting better food consumption patterns, smarter use of data and digital solution can help us actually in this effort. It can support behavioral change, enable adoption of healthier and more sustainable food consumption patterns that are better for people and the planet. And this is something that I wish to talk a bit more about. We see, and the work that we have done at EPC, at European Policy Centre, we've been looking at digitalization, data and digital solutions as enabler for greater sustainability. And as in many other systems, be it in energy, be it in mobility, be it in overall production and consumption, we see that digitalization offers very interesting possibilities to enhance greater sustainability. And this comes down also when we're looking at food consumption. Be it in ways how we encourage people or how we create awareness about needed measures. We see that websites, food calculators, and hopefully in the future, labels that are actually enabled by better use of data can be used to change mentality and attitudes towards food, as well as food waste. We see several examples like digital platforms and applications being used, as well as blockchain-enabled solutions to shorten supply chains and connect farmers and consumers. And this is actually very important because one of the challenges we see today is that people feel very far away to the agriculture systems, to the farmers, and reconnecting people with the farmers, where the food is coming from, can be actually a very important enabler. And here, digitalization can certainly play a role. We see blockchain-enabled solutions that are already being used to trace food and products, and this can be an excellent way to verify claims on food and thus enhance trust and transparency. Now, when we look at digital solutions, obviously I would like to suggest that this is for whole society, and we can utilize data and digital solutions to encourage more sustainable consumption patterns across society. But I must be honest, I do think that there is especially untapped potential to use digitalization to empower younger generations. And we see that a lot of the younger people, they're digitally savvy. They're already using digital tools to act on climate, protect the environment, and make sustainable food choices. So this is something we should continue to build on. Now, sustainable consumption comes with a myriad of co-benefits, be it on climate, be it on staying healthy, preventing diseases, actually reducing one's impacts on the animals or caring for animals, as obviously food production has impact also on that side. So the digital tools that are being used, in order to actually make them work, to make them attractive, they should build on these benefits that they can deliver. And those solutions that build on the benefits will have the greatest chances to succeed and to be powerful enablers for good. Now, I should say that while it is important, obviously, to look at what we can do and what are some of the enabling tools we can do to encourage people to adopt more sustainable diets, at the same time, it is important to keep in mind also the enabling environment. And the fact is that digital solutions are only tools, and they will not be the silver bullet for delivering on more sustainable consumption patterns if the overall food environment does not support this. And this is why I think that it's very, very important to keep in mind that the policy and the financial framework needs to support the transition, the direction where we want to go. Digital solutions are only an instrument to get us where we want to go. And thus, it is especially important in this period of time, obviously, to look at, for example, the Common Agriculture Policy, and to ensure that how the money is being used, it is actually supporting the goals that we have set for ourselves, and it is being used to create the future food system that we desperately need, especially in these times, as I mentioned and where I started from, in these times where urgent action is needed to actually enhance our food security, resilience, and ensure that the transition to a more sustainable food system starts today. So I'll end here. If you have any questions or more specific examples of the digital solutions that can be used, I'll be happy to provide these. Just to say that it is very exciting and new area to look into what digitalization, data, digital solutions can do to actually provide answers, to help provide solutions to the most demanding societal and environmental challenges we face today. And we need to become much better in using these. Thank you very much.
Right. Thanks, Annika.